As the battle over President Trump's border wall continues, Montana's senior Senator Jon Tester made a trip there to check out the situation firsthand. Our own Russ Riesinger joined him on that trip and files this report.
What to do about securing the U.S.-Mexico border and also about those who cross it illegally has become a divisive political issue. I had a chance to see the situation firsthand going out with Border Patrol agents. We are just outside of McAllen, Texas, where if you look across the Rio Grande, you can see Mexico. I'm with Border Patrol agent Carlos Ruiz.
Here in the Rio Grande Valley, we have two demographics of aliens that we apprehend. We apprehend family units and unaccompanied children that actually actively seek Border Patrol to be apprehended in order to claim asylum or hope for a better life and permanent stay in the United States. Then we have what we call the impactables. These are people who are actively trying to avoid apprehension. They don't want to get caught from us.
And that goes on day and night, according to Border Patrol agents here. We would encounter both of these groups, those who want to get away and those who don't.
They just walked up from the river and turned themselves into us. So now they're just preparing them for transport so that they can take it to the processing center and process it.
Ruiz says they're averaging about 1,000 a day right now. Not long afterwards, another group is apprehended. They've just come across the river. You can still see the smuggler on the other side.
Got something that you guys just got something a lot of people, reporters don't get, and that's a wrap.
Yeah, that is a wrap. That's how they came over. They are from Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala.
How long was the trip here?
¿Cuánto tardaron en llegar aquí de sus países originales?
Un mes.
It took her 1 month.
1 mes.
1 month.
3 semanas.
3 weeks. ¿Cuánto tú tardaste?
3 semanas.
3 weeks.
Why did you want to come here?
¿Para qué querían venir acá?
Para buscar un futuro mejor. Necesito que me den permiso de estar porque necesito trabajo. Tengo mis hijos, tengo 5 hijos. Y soy madre soltera.
They're looking for a better life, and she's a single mother, and she's looking to look for work so she could put her child, so that their child can grow up here and have a better life.
What will you do now? Yes, then what will they do now?
¿Y qué van a hacer ahora? They don't know.
We just don't have the infrastructure yet, and so we've got to make sure that when we're doing our budgeting in the Appropriations Subcommittee of Homeland Security, that we allocate the funds in the right spots. If we allocate them in the wrong spots, we're not going to solve this problem, and it will continue to get worse unless we get it solved.
Would you describe this as a crisis from what you've seen?
I would describe it as a problem that could reach crisis proportion if we don't act in a way that makes sense. But I will also tell you that I think we can't do everything at once. We need to stage the things, and I think the most important thing we can do right now is make sure that these folks have the manpower and technology, and we deal with the issues from the originating countries.
Whether you call it a crisis or not, one thing is very clear. There's a problem here with no easy solutions. On the southern border in McAllen, Texas, I'm Russ Riesinger reporting for MTN News.
And Russ, we'll have more stories from the border later this week. A western Montana man accused of leaving his infant nephew buried in the woods will spend at least 20 years in prison. 33-year-old Francis Crowley was high on meth and bath salts when he abandoned the 5-month-old baby in February of 2018. The baby was found by authorities after a massive search and survived. Crowley was sentenced on Tuesday to 10 years on each of 2 counts of criminal endangerment. He delivered an emotional outburst addressing the judge and others involved in the case.
This has completely changed my life. It doesn't matter what sentence is that I get. It's done. Like, I need help though. I'm gonna go to prison. What? Who am I? I'm a rat. How do you think I feel? Huh? That you're the one that found him when I'm the one that was supposed to be there for him. I have to tell my little nieces that I almost killed their little brother.
On to flood watch. I-90 from Crow Agency to the Wyoming border is open to travelers once again, but just one lane in each direction. This video taken Sunday shows major flooding on the highway that caused the initial closure on Saturday. Right now, there's still about 1 to 2 inches of water on the roadway in certain sections, and drivers are being asked to reduce their speed and use caution. A state of emergency has been declared across Park County. High water through Paradise Valley all the way north to Wilsall has breached homes and submerged roadways. 5 roads are closed, more than a dozen are damaged, and crews are carefully monitoring to make sure no residents are stranded. The sheriff's office encourages residents to be wary of driving through water-covered roadways because what's underneath could be dangerous. Free sandbags are available at the fairgrounds in Livingston. The Moss Mansion in downtown Billings is also impacted by this spring thaw. Ice dams in the upper gutters of the Historic House Museum are seeping water inside the home. The room most affected is the guest apartment on the second floor. On the outside, you cannot really tell, but most of the mansion's roof is actually flat. If water can't drain through the gutter, it pools on the roof, then seeps between the exterior sandstone wall and interior plaster. Staff tells us there is a way to fix the ice damming in the gutters, but it will cost a pretty penny. A bill currently working its way through the Montana legislature would create museum grants to assist historic landmarks like the Moss Mansion. After losing his life to save others in Iraq in 2007, a Montana soldier will receive the Medal of Honor from President Donald Trump today. Army Staff Sergeant Travis Atkins of Bozeman died when he used his own body to cover a detonation from a suicide bomber and protect his comrades, saving 3 lives in the process. His son Trevor will accept the nation's highest award for valor on his father's behalf. Q2 will stream the White House ceremony live on our Facebook page today. It's set to start at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. The Carroll College men's basketball team falls to Georgetown in last night's NAIA Championship game in Kansas City. This was Carroll's first trip to the game. Georgetown was making its 7th appearance and has now won 3 national titles. The Tigers were this year's overall top seed. Final score was 68-48. Crews at Montana State University will have to remove a 3rd gym in the process of clearing away rubble from the 2 gyms that collapsed under heavy snow this winter. Questions remain as to what led to the collapse. As crews demolish both the north and south gyms, they will have to remove the upper gym that's still standing between them. But crews have to be careful the nearby fitness center doesn't get damaged. The latest round of flu numbers in Montana shows more widespread activity across the state. As of March 16th, the state reports more than 11,000 cases, and of them, 16 people have died, including a 6-year-old girl. Nearly 600 people have been hospitalized. This same time last month, more than 2,000 people had contracted the flu, sending more than 100 people to the hospital. Last flu season lasted from September 2017 to June 2018. Almost 1,000 people were hospitalized and 79 people died. Well, a longtime Billings pharmacy closed its doors on Tuesday, and its pharmacist gets ready for the next chapter in her life. Q2's Zoe Zandor was there as Herthas' first pharmacy prepared to close its doors for good.
You've been a part of my life for how many years? 35.
For who's counting?
July 1st, 1999. Hertha Voris, the original owner of Herthas' first pharmacy, opened the doors and pharmacy window to the city and people of Billings. A staple in the community for nearly 20 years, Herthas' first pharmacy is now closing its doors.
It's been kind of I don't even know what to call it, a center of the community that everybody seems to be drawn to her, and I think it's going to really leave a gap.
Herthas says it's a very special thing to be a part of a community like Billings.
To earn the trust of people in this community over the years means a great deal to all of us. I have a staff that the best ever, and they care like I do.
It's been endearing just to get to know everybody on a personal level, not just a business level, and it's something that I will take with me forever.
People want to come in and have questions about their health care, have questions about prescriptions. They want to talk to somebody that knows them and can answer those questions honestly and give them some advice.
She is a class act. I have been very fortunate to have been to be able to be on the receiving end of her loving service. She has done stuff above and beyond that she didn't have to do.
And what's next? Well, Herthas says she's at what many call a fork in the road, and before she takes the next path, she's going to allow herself a month to sit back and think about everything.
It has been such a pleasure, such a joy, and it has been the best adventure of my life.
In Billings, Zoe Zandora, MTN News.